Breaking news, the FBI sweeping in, making more than 30 arrests tonight, including an NBA star and an NBA coach who was coaching a big game just last night. Authorities say all part of a massive NBA and mafia gambling scandal. Investigators say they rigged poker games using high-tech devices, including an X-ray table that could read cards face down.
Breaking news, the FBI sweeping in, making more than 30 arrests tonight, including an NBA star and an NBA coach who was coaching a big game just last night. Authorities say all part of a massive NBA and mafia gambling scandal. Investigators say they rigged poker games using high-tech devices, including an X-ray table that could read cards face down. The FBI didn't just raid LeBron James' homes, they raided his legend, and what they found could send him to prison. On October 23rd, federal agents executed simultaneous warrants in Los Angeles and Akron, seizing encrypted devices, handwritten ledgers, and private communications connected to Operation Nothing But Bet, a multi-state probe that has already taken down major NBA names. According to federal filings, the warrants cited coordination of privileged information, a phrase prosecutors usually reserve for organized schemes, not misunderstandings. It wasn't a fishing expedition. It was a strike planned with precision after months of surveillance and cross-referenced money trails leading directly into LeBron's financial orbit. Sources told the Post that Jones sent a message to one of the betting ring members on February 9, 2023, urging him to place a large bet on the Lakers' opponent, the Milwaukee Bucks, because James would be out with an injury that night. Inside those warrants, agents detailed their first domino, Damon Jones. Once known as LeBron's confidant, Jones is now the government's key link between locker room secrets and high-stakes betting circles. Court documents confirm that Jones sold insider injury details on both LeBron and Anthony Davis, including a $2,500 tip that backfired during a January 2024 Lakers game against Oklahoma City. The same files describe how Jones told a co-conspirator to get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the Lakers' February 9, 2023 matchup. The very night LeBron sat out with a sore ankle. That night, the Bucks won easily and the betting ring cashed in, but buried deep in the FBI's affidavit, investigators wrote that these communications would be cross-referenced against external ledgers associated with Sean Combs. The same Sean Diddy Combs, now serving over 4 years for his role in a criminal enterprise involving racketeering and coercion. That single reference set off alarms throughout the sports and entertainment industries. The idea that LeBron's financial data might intersect with the network of a disgraced mogul turned what looked like a betting scandal into a potential corruption case. Agents didn't just want texts or bank statements. They wanted patterns, transactions that moved between athletic management accounts and shell entities previously tied to Combs' event operations. The first indictment involves 6 defendants. This scheme is an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about National Basketball Association athletes and teams. Within hours of the raids, 2 of LeBron's corporate sponsors reportedly suspended their endorsement activity, citing pending legal uncertainty. Yet through all of this, LeBron's attorneys have stayed silent. No statements, no denials, only a brief line through a spokesperson confirming cooperation. Meanwhile, the story's political undercurrent exploded when ESPN analyst Stephen A. Smith took to Live Television. "He's coming," Smith warned, "and he's not going to spare anyone." He was talking about former President Donald Trump. Smith claimed the raids were not coincidence, but retaliation, an act meant to humiliate the NBA at the start of the season. The backlash was immediate. FBI Director Kash Patel fired back on Fox News, calling Smith's comment the absurd thing I've ever heard. Yet Smith doubled down, telling viewers he wasn't backing off. "I said what I said, I meant what I meant," he repeated days later on his podcast. He wasn't alleging the case was fake, only that the timing during opening week riot of political theater. But the argument did little to change what was unfolding inside federal offices in New York and Los Angeles. While cable debates burned over motives, agents continued sifting through seized electronics, and what insiders claim they found has shaken even veteran investigators. According to 2 individuals briefed on the process, LeBron's encrypted messages included contacts tied to Combs' former event planners, some of whom were named in the mogul's own criminal proceedings. The messages allegedly mentioned gatherings that prosecutors later described in court as disgusting, shameful, and sick. We don't know what those exchanges contained or whether LeBron was aware of what those events really were. But the fact that his name appears in communications under review by the same cyber forensics team that built the Combs case is enough to ignite headlines around the world. Individuals such as Chanty Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that span the course of years. The FBI led a coordinative takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. The overlap is startling. Combs' legal downfall began with raids on his New York and Los Angeles homes in March 2024, locations not far from the same neighborhoods federal agents searched this month. In both cases, the warrants targeted encrypted data, offshore transfers, and confidential contact lists. Investigators now believe that parts of the entertainment network used by Combs to launder appearance fees may have also been used to move gambling proceeds connected to Damon Jones's betting ring. None of this proves LeBron's direct involvement, but the optics are devastating. His devices reportedly contained years of correspondence covering the same period when Jones was still in his inner circle. We played it yesterday, but Stephen A. Smith-like, "Oh, Chanty Billups is in trouble and Terry Rozier is in trouble and he's Trump's coming, y'all, Trump's coming." And and I'm like, I hope he is, because our sports world is corrupt and is promoting things that need to be cleaned up. Behind the scenes, tension is growing inside the league office. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has privately told staff the integrity of the game is under its toughest test in decades. Sources close to the Lakers describe quiet panic, with security teams reviewing past access logs and travel itineraries. What they're trying to establish is who from LeBron's circle had access to team medical data or could have overheard confidential injury updates. Jones wasn't officially on staff, yet his access was unrestricted. He was in locker rooms, on planes, even at private workouts. And now the federal trail shows him bragging at Vegas casinos about being LeBron's best friend. That's how investigators allege he gained trust from high-stakes gamblers who later joined mafia-backed poker games. As these revelations hit the press, something else caught attention. A resurfaced video from 2021 showing LeBron laughing with Combs on an Instagram Live saying, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." It was once harmless, just celebrity banter. But after Combs's conviction and the exposure of his so-called freak-off events, that clip has taken on a darker tone. Social media analysts have dissected it frame by frame, treating it like evidence of proximity to scandal. When asked months ago about attending Combs parties, LeBron said he preferred not to comment until I know how much information becomes public. That single line, meant to deflect gossip, now reads differently in the shadow of the raids. The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched not for injury, but for integrity. Industry insiders say the FBI's Los Angeles office has assembled a dedicated task group to track crossover communications between athletes and entertainment figures tied to Combs' defunct management company. The question they're asking is not whether LeBron attended any gatherings, but whether his financial network ever intersected with accounts now identified as conduits for illegal transfers. Every seized tablet, every backup phone is being parsed by digital forensic experts who have already found metadata linking some of those devices to locations in Beverly Hills and Miami during the same weekends as the events under scrutiny. In public, LeBron appears calm, courtside smiling, even posing with fellow celebrities. But insiders claim that calm is a mask. Since the raids, his travel has been reduced, his communications filtered through lawyers, and several scheduled media appearances quietly canceled. Former teammates say he's furious yet cautious, aware that anything he says could be twisted or subpoenaed. At the same time, people close to the investigation suggest prosecutors are split on how to handle him. Some see him as an unwilling participant caught in his friend's spiral. Others suspect he knew more than he admits. What the victims, the fish, didn't know that everybody else at the poker game, from the dealer to the players, including the face cards, were in on the scam. And just as the public begins to settle. On one theory, new whispers emerge. Allegedly, the same encrypted devices seized from his Ohio residence contained archived financial ledgers that show irregular transfers routed through entertainment foundations between 2022 and 2024. Those transactions are now being analyzed alongside records from Combs' convicted network. Whether coincidence or connection, they raise the question no one wants to ask. How deep does this go? Because if those transfers show even indirect benefit from privileged information or coordinated payouts, the entire case could shift from witness C